Are you struggling with whether to take over your aging parents' finances? Maybe you've noticed mail that is piling up on their table, which could indicate unusual spending or bills not being paid. Is mom or dad frequently complaining about not having enough money? Have you noticed memory issues, such as they can't remember if they paid the mortgage or why they wrote such a large check? Are your parents struggling with daily issues such as poor vision or arthritis? Taking over your aging parents' finances can have both a positive and a negative impact. But your first step is to have a conversation with your parents. They might only need a small amount of assistance, or they might need you to assume full responsibility for their finances. There are some pros and cons to consider when making this decision. And 5 reasons to assume responsibility for your parents' finances are: number 1, being financial stability. Taking over your parents' finances can help ensure that their bills are being paid on time, their assets are managed effectively, and will relieve your parents from having to be concerned about trying to consider managing their finances. And number 2, protection against financial scams. As your parents age, they may become more vulnerable to financial scams, and without immediate access to their checking or savings accounts, they can't send money to some unknown person that calls in the middle of the night saying a family member is in trouble. Number 3 is peace of mind. By taking on the responsibility of managing your parents' finances, you can give them peace of mind that everything is being taken care of for them. And this is one less thing on their plate, which gives them the opportunity to focus on other aspects of their lives. Number 4 is legal and financial organization. Assuming control of your parents' finances can help streamline their financial affairs, making it easier to track income, expenses, and assets. And number 5 is family harmony. Taking over your parents' finances can prevent conflicts and disagreements among family members about how their money should be managed. And if there are multiple siblings or relatives involved, it's important that you maintain excellent records in case one sibling wants to see where the money is being spent. Some less positive issues, however, are: number 1, loss of independence. Taking over your parents' finances may make them feel like they're losing control over their own lives and decisions, particularly if they are still capable of managing their finances independently to some extent. The thought of losing control is one reason why seniors may be reluctant to have assistance with their finances. Number 2 is a strained relationship. Assuming control of your parents' finances can strain your relationship with them, especially if they perceive it is an intrusion into their privacy. Your parents may be very private people who've always done everything themselves. Number 3 is increased responsibility. From personal experience, I know that managing someone else's finances is a significant responsibility that requires time, effort, and attention to detail. It can be challenging to balance this added responsibility with your own personal and professional obligations. And number 4 is risk of resentment. Be aware that your parents may not appreciate that you're taking over their finances, especially if they feel that they are being treated like children and you're not respecting their privacy. Number 5, legal and financial responsibility. Assuming control of your parents' finances can expose you to legal and financial liability if you make mistakes or mishandle their money. Your siblings may decline to do the work, but they will definitely be monitoring how well you're doing the work. It's important to understand your obligations and seek professional advice if necessary. Ultimately, whether or not you should take over your aging parents' finances depends on their specific needs and circumstances, as well as your own ability and willingness to assume the responsibility. It's important to approach the situation with empathy, communication, and respect for your parents' wishes.